What's up, Fortnite fam, and welcome to the FNCS preview show. With the finals right around the corner, we figured we'd get together and talk about which duos you should be keeping an eye out on in the finals on the FNCS on April 17th through the 19th. I'm Zeke, and joining us we've got Sundown, MonsterDface, BallaTW, and Shyowager. Alright gentlemen, we're going to be talking about some duos to watch. Now let's not forget, there are two separate tournament tracks, one for PC and one for console and mobile. So when you guys are talking about your duo, let's talk about the region and track before diving into why we should be keeping an eye on them. Sundown, let's start with you.
Cool, so we're going to kick it off over in Asia, and we're going to take a look at Crazy Raccoons, Ruri, and Rizard. The World Cup veterans had a really impressive performance in Week 4, making sure they closed out the final qualifier, taking the top spot. Additionally, they were only pushed outside of the top 5 once throughout the entirety of the qualification process, and it was a little bit of a funky Week 3, so I think they'll have a big momentum rolling into the qualification and into the heats.
Monster, what you got?
You know, honestly, we're talking about regions, talking about people who are going to take regions. You got to talk about NA East, Dented, and Edgy, because this is an invasion from the West. We have two top competitors right here coming from West to the East Coast and still top performing. We're looking to see if they can actually crown themselves kings of another region, because they've already proven in the West they have what it takes to be on top.
I think that's a solid pick because one of the favorite stats I saw throughout all the weeks was that they were the only team to have scored a single point in every single game, which is 24. But I have to mention Jack and Acorn because they have the most wins, slightly ahead of Sentinel and Edgy out of any team in the Sunday finals, and they really come out of the blue as one of those new teams this season.
Now, I myself also think Sentinel and Edgy are going to be on top, but because of that, I have to predict an upset. Cease and Bizzle have been the sleeper duo, top 10 multiple weeks in a row, just waiting and watching for those grand finals. I think this is going to be their time. They're one of those big veteran duos that know how to play in high-pressure environments. Also, had a shower thought. Unknown and Ronaldo, kind of the most aggressive people possibly in the world, could have a nice chance at the top spot as well.
Balla, what do you think?
I think we're going to move to Brazil, and my prediction for the PC track rides on the accolades and performance so far from Leleo and Master. Leleo is no stranger to first place as he won the first Champion Series in trios and then placed second in squads. Now teaming up with Master, they've created a force to be reckoned with. Leleo has come a long way from his W key madness during World Cup qualifiers and managed to combine that with a more stable and consistent endgame push to himself up to the top of the BR Series points leaderboard. In weeks 3 and 4 of the FNCS qualifiers, they placed third both times. For me, the key for them will be converting on wins, in addition to staying consistent with elims every game. If they can do that, it should be an easy ride to the top.
I think that duo is definitely one of the top 3 to keep an eye on in Brazil, but I also want to talk about Sheko22, FKL History, VKS Polga, and then Moja. All of them have been consistently in the top 5. History and Sheko were able to clutch up in week number 4, and they had that ability to convert on wins that you talked about, as well as make explosive plays regardless of what weapon loadout they have. They ended up having one disgusting harpoon play this past week that you definitely want to check out if you didn't see the highlights. And then Polga and Mojak have consistently been in the top 5, but they haven't been able to steal away that win. And we're also pushed down to 9th once, but also have the ability to challenge for that top spot.
Shy, you know I gotta hear your opinion.
I mean, let's just put OCE into the limelight. I've always had two lucky numbers, 3 and 7, and Volks and Carrion have only placed 3rd or 7th place in every single week of these qualifiers and have these two words associated with them: ramping potential. Every time these guys are alive, the longer they survive, the more chance they have to pop off and get huge clutches, huge synergistic performances. It is a beauty to watch, and now they're going to be on that big heat and final stage, hopefully as well, where they just knock it straight home. These guys are definitely taking away the entire competition. Now, Zeke, you're always asking us about our thoughts. What are some of yours for this season of the FNCS?
Oh, okay. Leaning on Zeke. All right, so let's talk about ME. I've got Took and Dexifite over on PC. I've been a big fan of ME for quite a while. So I think there's a lot of talent there and still much to discover. Now, Tooks and Dexifite, they actually come from a squad background where they've had to learn teamwork through and through, and now they're playing duos, and you can see a lot of that teamwork shine in their play. They've managed to place well in the FNCS, taking 2nd in week 2 and 1st in week 3. In week 4, I mean, look, they placed 5th, and they still had a pretty well-rounded performance, but still top 10 performance we're looking at. I appreciate their play quite a bit. Even when they can't make the placements they're looking to make, they still pick up points via eliminations. And I think though they're doing very well, I think there's still some room for improvement. And if they work out a few of those kings, I think these guys could be really big deal out in ME.
Wait a second, Zeke. Talking about squads, I have a championship squad from the FNCS Champ Series. We have Wakey and Snappy. These guys have been crushing it over in the EU region, and they're landing at the rig. This is going to be a very strong location, one of the agency spots, and we haven't even touched on how great the loot can be for teams that have been taking control of these agency locations. So I'm interested to see if they can continue to carry on their week 1 and 2 performances all the way on through to the grand finals when the plot thickens and the player's skill level steps up a notch.
Now you threw it back to squads, let's throw it way back to trios, and we had a big rivalry between Stompy and Aqua and Mongrel and Benji. This time, Stompy Aqua have the heat coming in at the top spot, taking first places in some weeks, and at the same time being dominant on high ground as well, from the leaderboards to in-game. In my opinion though, I think this time it's going to be a reverse upset. Mongrel and Benji are going to be the ones to come out on top. Although they haven't seen any performances in the finals in week 3 and 4, their first week dominance shows that when everything's new, they know how to work that meta, they know how to work the game in that final 6-game performance. These guys are classic heroes, and today they will triumph again.
The thing that you guys are missing, though, is drop spots, and that's all that we've seen throughout the 4 weeks of EU, how important that is. Snappy and Wakey have struggled in the last 2 weeks against Letwick and Kiriachi pushing out of Slurpy Swamps onto the rig. Whereas on the other side of the map, Stompy and Aqua have the grotto for free, and they're not really being even contested in any shape or form. So sure, they might have an off week or 2 during Sunday finals, but I can't imagine them being off for the grand finals, because these guys are the trios winners. And you pair them with a strong spot like the grotto, and you give Aqua a Brutus minigun, they'll dominate, as we saw week after week.
Let's talk about NA West PC. Let's go over to Sundown.
So the first team I want to call out in NA West is 100 Thieves Arkham and Andrew. Now, they were only outside of the top 5 once, but again, we're going to talk about that weird week 3 where really nobody in the West who was normally on top was able to push up there. So with otherwise consistent placements, and then also closing out week 4 with an 11 elimination victory royale, they're going to look to fill the void that Scented and Edgy left when they departed to move east. But also challenging them is another 100 Thieves member, Rex, paired up with NRG Epic Whale, who has also added the RR on the end of his name and also dropped his shotgun and his keyboard and mouse and picked up a controller and taking that drum gun and pushing into everyone's box. The question is, can he be successful in a lobby with the 100 of the best players when all the pressure is on the line? They were the ones to win week 4.
Speaking of NA West, let's talk about console, and we gotta talk about Talon Ruben and Talon Drew. These guys have been performing extremely well. 2 back-to-back first place performances in NA West, 63 points and 60 respectively. They both appear to be relatively new on the scene, at least from like what I can see, but they're already on the team and they're putting up huge numbers. These two have a really solid balance of like eliminations and placement. What I really love about these guys is their in-your-face playstyle. They're so aggressive, and once they lock onto a target, they'll bull rush them until they take them down. They aren't afraid to push for high ground or disengage a bad fight, but they're always ready to strike when an opportunity presents itself.
Keeping it with the console track, on the other side of the coast, I have to give it to Nut and Twexy, who have had consistent performances week after week, and appear to be peaking as we approach the season finals. A 2nd place with 2 victory royales in week 4 Sunday finals, and a 9th place in the weekend prior, these guys look to be reaching the form that they had in their week 1 dominating performance. And that's what it's all about, is making sure that seasonal finals, they have the best form yet. I think they can do it with their vast experience playing together as a duo dating all the way back to the World Cup qualifiers where they started turning heads. Experience and chemistry will make the difference in the grand finals, and I believe that they will thrive.
That wraps up the preview show. Thank you guys so much for coming on. You know we love hearing from you. For everyone at home, don't forget to tune in this weekend for drops over on Twitch. For everyone participating in finals, best of luck to you. And to all our fans, we just wanted to say thank you for sticking with us, especially in this very strange time. Please keep yourself safe and just know we love and appreciate all of you. And as always, Fortnite fam, we'll see you guys on the battle bus.
Beep beep.